We know that we have a minor board conference, the ANC. We're going to call upon the ANC Commission of Support, who come with Lutu from 115 to come and address. Bambulele, Bambulele, Sasko
Comrades, thank you very much. My name is Luchulumanco Nanto, as already introduced by the chair. And I am the branch secretary of Ward 115, which is the African National Congress in this constituency. Chair, the ANC is not a mother body of SASCO. Just a slight correction to be on record. That is something we used to debate a lot and we used to fight about a lot. It is great to be home because SASCO D6, the then SASCO Cape Town, is home for some of us. This is where we were introduced to politics. S.I. Bamba Nati from the likes of Comrade Vasuli, who were there before us. And we used to speak about that the ANC and SASCO has a complementary and not so complementary relationship. However, we are guided by the policies that makes us align. I'm now putting myself in SASCO. That makes us align with the ANC to ensure we rally behind the ANC together with the PYA. I see we've got new additions to the PYA as well. So it is those policies in our belief as SASCO that made us to rally behind the African National Congress. Not necessarily because SASCO is a brainchild of the African National Congress. I said, I raised the name of Steve Biko earlier on because if you want to trace our roots, that's where you will find us. That measure, I think Congress would know. I don't want to speak about the formation of SASCO because it's going to be like I'm doing an induction of which I don't want it to be like. But Congress, we are here over a very important topic, and big ups to the leadership of the branch for creating a space and a dialogue for us to discuss and to debate about this important matter in society. And it is something that we need to look at it from the upbringing of the male child in particular. And the things that we in our respective community indoctrinate in the minds of young boys and the way they ought to view women. By the time they get into the university, they are far away from home, they are here all by themselves, they think they are big boys and they think they are big girls. And we need to be honest, comrades, and we must not take this matter and make it an us and them thing. We need to draw it near to us. Because it is us who take advantage of young first years who come to school. It is us who say, if you want rest, come to my bedroom at night. It is us who say, if you So we need to be honest in these discussions and not push it and make it an us and then thing. And then when we speak about it, we speak as if we are immune to it, because we are not. Because truth is, if we were to do a serious digging and to ensure that the organization rids itself of each and every ill that exists within it, would be shocked. Therefore, when we speak about such things, we need to be honest. And when it comes to SASCO, we need to come and say, how does SASCO deal with such? When we speak of non-racialism, when we speak of non-sexist, what does that mean in the context of SASCO? I'm not going to speak about the context of the ANC or even the context of the Youth League, because we're not here to speak about primarily the African National Congress, but we are here gathered and called by SASCO. Therefore, whatever we define, we must define according to the way that SASCO defines it, so that we're all on the same level of understanding. So when we speak of all these things, comrades, we need to remember, Uguti, we are members of the society. You said this, Comrade Chair. Comrade Musuli also said this. And these are things we need to deal and we need to tackle in together with the society. Because if we want to single-handedly deal with such issues as SASCO, unfortunately, we're not going to be successful. We need to show that we are accountable for what we say, by ensuring that anyone who is charged or anyone who is accused of such crimes, that they need to be held accountable. And we must not favor, comrades. We've had a lot of rape cases in this campus. I'm not going to speak about the other campus. In the District 6 campus, there's been a lot of rape cases that have been tabled out against a lot of political leaders, student political leaders, not only in SASCO, in PASMA, and in all other parties that exist. But the way we deal with those cases, comrades, if we are being honest, it's not true. It's not true in the sense that if I'm favored, the case is going to be swept under the floor. If I'm not favored, the case is going to be a social media thing. It's going to be a thing whereby even those that don't like me can now start be friends because they want to rejoice over my name being made such an allegation against. When SASCO speaks, SASCO has very clear and beautiful policies that addresses everything. Whether we want to talk about patriarchy, or whether we want to talk about systematic failure, which is part of patriarchy, the systematic exclusion of females. We speak about women leading, but when we come to executive, we rejoice having one female. We speak about female occupying spaces, but we don't see them. And even in that discussion, we must be true. But females, part of you are also to be blamed. Because you'll find that sometimes even females are destroying other females deliberately. Yes. Which then makes the agenda of having women on top very difficult. So this is a true discussion we need to have. Even when we speak of femicide, even when we speak of gender-based violence, we need to be honest to put in some cases, men are bought by female to kill other women. And we forget about those factors. So let us be true, comrades, in all our discussions today, tonight. And whatever we speak about, let us go back and practice it. It is useless for us to gather here and say, Madoda must change, Madoda must sit, and then 2 days later I go and commit the exact same thing we spoke against here. It's foolishness. It then makes this entire exercise useless, because we might as well could have just stayed at our respective places and it's a Friday evening. So let us take whatever we'll be discussing here and apply it in reality. Let us be cautious of how we groom our young boys. Because in your delela umuntu ongumama okanye intombazana iqalela xa ukhuliswe mncinci kuthiwa ngobetha phaa into weekly. Go tap on her ass. Sorry to use that language. But that's the reality.
Tap that ass.
And if you don't act in that certain manner, you're questioned if are you mentally stable. Yeah. And then we want to be shocked when we see men at a later stage being the product of what society made them to be. Because remember, we are the product of the society, more than just a Makaya Edu. Yeah. Our parents can try as much to groom us to be what they want us to be, but the society plays a very critical role in how we become. So let us take whatever we do back into our respective societies. Teach young girls to take up space, in the words of the former Miss Universe. Teach girls to take up space, and men must support women in that cause. Men must not want to do what was done to the black people during the times of colonization, the Union of South Africa, and the apartheid era. whereby black people were systematically silenced, and you had white people wanting to be the voice of black people as if black people could not speak for themselves. Men must not silence women and want to be the voice of women as if women cannot speak for themselves. Women must lead the struggle of emancipation for women, and men must fully support it without any hesitation. And that is something that must happen throughout, whether we're talking legislative-wise, whether we're talking any sort of form, whether we're talking at an institutional level, we're talking in the leadership of SASCO, we're talking at an institutional level, whether we have a third quota in council, we have a third quota in the government, we have a third quota in legislation. All these things are beautiful in paper, comrades. But if we don't take these things and implement them, they become fruitless. We can speak about, we've got this policy, we've got this law, we've got this law. But if we don't act upon it, it's going to be fruitless. And that thing starts with us. It's not going to be implemented by Ubegekele wherever he is. But it's going to start with us. You change your attitude. You change your thought. We can speak and do whatever we want to do, but if one is don't want to change, then that's what the problem is. So we need to change, and we need to apply this in our daily lives. And we need to change the society for the better, to ensure we are not worried about such young girls walking the souk. As a female, we are not worried. Next safe now, if no one is going to touch you inappropriately, if no one is going to rape you, if no one is going to take your body and dump it kilometers away from your home in a river, and then you have to put up hashtags, search for Banban, please find Banban, and you become another stat, because unfortunately that is the current reality. So comrades, let us take whatever we'll be discussing here and apply it in our reality. Once again, big ups to the leadership of the branch for having such a discussion, and let us engage when the time to engage and ensure that we leave no stone unturned. Amanda!